Hi, welcome to another Stream Developers tutorial. In this video, we look at the best local LLM tools to run the DeepSeek R1 thinking model offline and how to use it via LLM hosting platforms. DeepSeek recently released the R1 thinking model, which works similarly to the OpenAI O1 and O3 thinking models. Many people, including developers, want to use the DeepSeek R1 model. However, they are more concerned about data sharing and privacy. In this video, we look at using local LLM tools like LMStudio, Jan, and Ollama to run the DeepSeek R1 thinking model completely offline and without any privacy concerns. We also look at how to use the model via LLM7 platforms like Groq, Fireworks AI, and Together AI. Just like ChatGPT, when you use the hosted version of DeepSeek, that is DeepSeek Chat, your data may be collected by DeepSeek for training purposes, just like OpenAI. However, since DeepSeek is based in China, a lot of people have concern about sharing their data for a company based in China. First, let's look at how to run the model completely offline using local-first LLM tools. Secondly, I'll show you how to run the model using LLM7 providers based in the US. We begin with LMStudio. LMStudio provides access to distilled versions of DeepSeek R1 that can be run completely offline. To begin, you should visit lmstudio.ai and download the tool for your machine. Over here, you have noticed you can download it for Mac, Windows, and Linux. I have already downloaded LMStudio, so I'm going to launch it. Once you launch LMStudio, on the left panel, you can start a new chat. You can go to My Models to see all the models you have downloaded, or search for a new model by clicking the Discover button. In the search bar, you can enter a specific model you want to test with LMStudio. If I scroll down, you can see they have so many available models you can run locally. If I put, for example, Deep, you can see we have DeepSeek R1 Distill Quen and also DeepSeek R1 Distill Llama. If I select the Quen version, on the bottom right, you can see we can download it and that shows the size. I have the Llama version already downloaded. So once selected, on the bottom right, you can see we can use it in a new chat. To confirm the DeepSeek R1 model has been selected, we go to the top. You can see here we have the model's name. So let's add this prompt. 2 particles of masses 3 and 5 kg move in the same direction with velocities 4 and 2 meters per second. After collision, the bigger mass moves with a velocity of 0.8 meters per second. So we want to find the velocity of the smaller mass. Let's copy everything and go back to LMStudio, paste it here, and send the prompt. Since this is a reasoning model, it will take a while, about 2 to 3 minutes, before giving the final answer, because the model will go through a long chain of thought before arriving at the final answer. So this is how to run the DeepSeek R1 thinking model locally using LMStudio. I'm going to stop the process and go to the next, using Ollama to run the DeepSeek R1 model. On ollama.com, you can see they have DeepSeek R1. As I told you before, they have mentioned it even here. It works similarly, like the OpenAI O1 models. And here they have 6 different models based on Llama and Quen. The distilled R1 models ranges from smaller to larger versions. So if we scroll down, to run the model, we need to download Ollama, and all we need is to run the command Ollama run DeepSeek R1. To run a specific distilled model, we scroll down. You can see they have all these 6 distilled models based on Quen and Llama. So you can choose to run the smaller models or just run the bigger ones. In this example, we are going to use DeepSeek R1 Distill Llama 8B. I have already downloaded that. So let's copy this command and go to the terminal. I'm going to use the integrated terminal in Cursor. To bring it, I'll press Ctrl and backtick. First, you should check whether Ollama is successfully installed or not by simply running Ollama. So we have all this information about Ollama. Let's clear everything. We can also check the version of Ollama using Ollama -- version. You have noticed here I have Ollama version 0.5.7. I still have the DeepSeek R1, the still Llama 8B copied in my clipboard. So let's paste it in the terminal and run it. You have noticed that was fast. When we run this command for the first time, it will pull the model from the Ollama website, and that will take a while, depending on your machine. I have an M3 MacBook, so that took about 5 minutes. So you have noticed here, the model is now ready, so we can send any message. Let's go to the prompt again and copy it. Then we paste it here and press the return key. So you have seen the DeepSeek R1 thinking model has now started thinking. Just like using the model in LMStudio, it will go through a long chain of thought before arriving at the final answer. So now it is going through a long thinking process and also different alternatives. So depending on the question, it may take about 3 minutes before giving you the final answer. That is okay because this is one of the characteristics of thinking models, like the OpenAI O1 or O3 models. Over here you have seen we have the final answer at 6 meters per second for the velocity of the smaller mass. I have already checked the answer, so 6 meters per second is the correct answer. So this is how to run the DeepSeek R1 thinking model using Ollama. Let's move on to the next. Using Jan. Jan allows you to run open source models locally without any privacy concerns. So over here, it describes itself as an open source alternative to ChatGPT. So it works in a similar way like LMStudio. It has the chat feature, Model Hub, allowing you to search for a specific model. You can connect to cloud AIs, set up a local API server, and more. Like LMStudio, you can download Jan for Mac, Windows, and Linux. I have it already downloaded, so let's launch it. Once we launch it and go to the left panel, we can start a new chat and also go to the Model Hub. Over here, you can find different models and download them. In the search, I'm going to put Deep. You have noticed we have these versions of the DeepSeek R1 thinking models. I have already downloaded the first version, DeepSeek R1 Distill Llama 8B. You may also test the smaller version or a larger version depending on your computer. You have noticed here it has stated I don't have enough RAM to run this model. So I'm going to click Use. That will open a new chat and go back to the prompt. I'll copy it and go back to Jan and click Send. So like the previous examples, the model will go through a long chain of thought and different alternatives before arriving at the final answer. You have noticed here we still have 6 meters per second as the final answer, and as we scroll up, it went through a very long chain of thought before arriving at the final answer. I have now shown you how to run the DeepSeek R1 reasoning model locally using LMStudio, Ollama, and Jan. Let's move on to the next. I want to show you how to run the DeepSeek R1 model using US-based hosting providers like Groq, together.ai, and Fireworks AI. Using a US-based LLM hosting provider is very essential because it removes all the concerns about data privacy when using the DeepSeek R1 thinking model. Let's take a look at a few of these LLM hosting platforms that support the DeepSeek R1 model. Starting with Groq. To use Groq to run the model, you should visit groq.com. On the home page, you have noticed we can use the chat, and over here we can change the model we want to use. You should select the DeepSeek R1 Distill Llama 70B and paste your prompt here. I will copy the prompt and go back to the site. The R1 model is also available in the Dev Console. I have now logged into the Dev Console. On the top right, we have the option to select the model we want to use. So we have the DeepSeek R1 Distill Llama 70B. I will paste the prompt here and submit it. Using Groq is more faster than using the other tools. Another LLM hosting platform you can use to run the DeepSeek R1 model is Microsoft Azure AI Foundry. Like Groq, you can use this platform to run the DeepSeek R1 model on US servers without sending your data to DeepSeek. The next platform is Fireworks. When you visit fireworks.ai, you can go to the model library and select DeepSeek R1. Over here, you have seen we have DeepSeek support. So by clicking that, we can use it in the playground. We can also use it in the API. The API is available in Python, TypeScript, Java, Go, and Curl. Similar to the way we use Groq, you can open the playground and paste the prompt here and use it in the same way. As you have seen, using fireworks.ai is much slower than using Groq. So using the model on Fireworks also went through a very long chain of thought before calculating the final answer. Over here, you have seen we have the final answer to be 6 meters per second as previously. The next inference platform you can use to run the DeepSeek R1 model is together.ai. First, you should visit together.ai and scroll down on the homepage. Over here, you have noticed they have support for DeepSeek R1. Let's click to use the model. You can sign in with all these options. I'll select the first one. Like using the playground in Fireworks, we can use the model on together.ai in the same way. I have now shown you 4 different hosting platforms to run the DeepSeek R1 using US-based LLM7 platforms. These are not all the options we have. We also have other options like Open Router. You have noticed here you can run a distilled version with Open Router. There is also abacus.ai that provides a similar option. And finally, we have Chutes.ai. With this platform, you can also run the DeepSeek R1 thinking model, as you have seen here. So this is everything we have in this video. I showed you the best tools to run the DeepSeek R1 thinking model locally. We dived into running the model offline using LMStudio, Ollama, and Jan. We didn't end there. We also dived into running the DeepSeek R1 model using LLM7 providers based in the US. All the different tools covered in this tutorial to run the model locally and using a hosting service are just a few of the tools you can use to run the DeepSeek R1 model. If you know about any other tool I didn't mention in this video, you can leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching this video.